Did you know that millions of people are about to be forced out of their homes in 2025? Countries around the world are tightening immigration policies, and thousands are already facing deportation. But why is this happening now? Is this about security, the economy, or politics? From the US deploying thousands of troops at its border to Italy sending migrants to Albania, the world is witnessing an immigration shift like never before. Stay with me as we break down 10 countries cracking down on immigrants in 2025. And trust me, some of these will shock you. Number 1, the United States. The US is leading one of the harshest immigration crackdowns in modern history. With over 11 million undocumented immigrants, authorities are now enforcing mass deportations at an unprecedented rate. Since Donald Trump returned to office, his administration has doubled down on border control. Over 10,000 troops are being sent to secure the US-Mexico border, the largest military presence in history. At the same time, PBS reported that drone surveillance has increased by 40%, making illegal crossings nearly impossible. And here's the shocking part. The government plans to deport 300,000 immigrants in 2025 alone. That's 822 people per day. Those with expired visas or recent border crossings are at the highest risk. Even sanctuary cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago are feeling the pressure, with ICE raids increasing by 25%. However, critics warn that deporting immigrants could damage key industries like agriculture and construction, which heavily rely on undocumented workers. With protests already erupting, will the US face an economic crisis because of these policies? Only time will tell. 2. United Kingdom. The UK has taken a zero-tolerance approach toward undocumented immigrants in 2025, setting a target to deport 150,000 people by the end of the year. What's driving this change? One major reason is the housing crisis. In cities like London, Manchester, and Birmingham, rents have soared by 12% in just a year, leading many to believe that immigration is worsening the problem. At the same time, unemployment has hit 5.2%, the highest in over a decade. Many citizens argue that jobs should go to UK-born workers first. To make things even tougher, The Telegraph noted that the UK has cut work visas by 30%, making it harder for foreign workers to find jobs. Even people who have lived in the UK for over 10 years without legal status are now being deported. But the policy isn't without controversy. A recent case of an 85-year-old woman facing deportation after decades in London sparked outrage. While some support the crackdown, others believe the UK is turning its back on hardworking immigrants. 3. France. France is no stranger to strict immigration policies, but 2025 is setting a new precedent. The government has announced plans to deport 150,000 undocumented immigrants, a 25% increase from the previous year. One of the biggest reasons? Security concerns. In recent years, France has faced multiple terror attacks, leading to public pressure for stricter immigration control. Officials argue that some asylum seekers cannot be properly vetted, increasing security risks. But the economy is also playing a role. According to a UN report, France spends $3.3 billion annually on migrant assistance programs, including housing and food support. As inflation rises, the government has decided to cut migrant support by 20% while ramping up deportations. Most of those facing deportation come from Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia, and France has signed agreements with these nations to speed up the removal process. But the big question remains: will these policies truly improve security and economic stability, or are they just a political move to gain public approval? 4. Italy. Italy is taking a drastic new approach to handling immigration. Instead of processing asylum seekers within its borders, the government has struck a controversial deal with Albania, sending thousands of migrants there instead. Here's how it works. Migrants arriving in Italy by boat are immediately transferred to a holding center in Albania, where their asylum applications are reviewed. If approved, they may be allowed back into Italy. If rejected, they are deported to their home countries. Why is Italy making this move? Immigration numbers have skyrocketed. Over 150,000 migrants landed in Italy in 2024, a 35% increase from the previous year. Many citizens feel their country is carrying an unfair share of Europe's migration crisis. By outsourcing asylum processing to Albania, Italy expects to cut migration costs by up to 40%. But not everyone agrees with this policy. Human rights groups are calling it inhumane, arguing that Albania's facilities may not meet international refugee standards. With this move, Italy has become the first European country to process asylum seekers outside its own borders. But will it work, or will it create new human rights concerns? If you're enjoying this breakdown of global immigration policies, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We bring you factual, in-depth analyses of world events. So stay tuned for more, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 5. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is enforcing one of the biggest mass deportations in its history, targeting 1.2 million undocumented immigrants in 2025. The kingdom is reshaping its economy under Vision 2030, aiming to reduce its dependence on foreign labor. Currently, 77% of private sector jobs are held by expatriates, but the government wants to cut that to 50%. According to The Guardian, Saudi authorities are also tightening border security with Yemen after intercepting 50,000 illegal crossings in 2024. Meanwhile, businesses hiring illegal workers now face fines up to $26,600 per violation. With foreign workers sending home $40 billion in remittances annually, these deportations will have ripple effects beyond Saudi Arabia's borders. 6. Germany. Germany was once seen as Europe's most immigrant-friendly nation, but 2025 marks a major shift. As highlighted by InfoMigrant, the government is increasing deportations by 35%, aiming to cut asylum fraud and illegal migration. Housing shortages are a key issue. Berlin, Hamburg, and Munich are over 95% full, straining public resources. Meanwhile, economic concerns mount as Germany spends $21.7 billion annually on refugee programs. Authorities are also tackling 120,000 cases of asylum fraud, introducing biometric verification to track applicants. With border security tightening, illegal entries are being intercepted at record levels. Human rights groups argue these policies may harm vulnerable refugees, especially those fleeing war-torn regions. 7. Australia. Australia is expanding its already strict immigration policies in 2025, aiming to cut illegal arrivals by 50%. According to NPR, offshore detention centers in Nauru and Papua New Guinea are being expanded, with 3,000 new spots added. Meanwhile, work visa renewals are down 30%, forcing more migrants to return home. With unemployment rising to 5.2%, Australia is prioritizing skilled workers over temporary migrants. Deportations are also rising, 20,000 expected in 2025, up from 14,000 in 2024. Despite these crackdowns, Australia continues to seek high-skilled immigrants, struggling to balance national security and economic growth. 8. Turkey. Turkey has long hosted millions of refugees, but economic struggles and public pressure are now driving mass deportations. With inflation at 40%, many Turkish citizens feel that refugees are competing for jobs and increasing the cost of living. In response, Turkey plans to deport 600,000 undocumented migrants in 2025. The government is tightening work permit laws, cutting financial aid for refugees, and ramping up border security. Over 150,000 illegal crossings were intercepted in 2024 alone. Critics argue these deportations may destabilize war-torn regions, particularly Syria. Meanwhile, Turkey continues negotiating with the EU on migration control. 9. Spain. Spain is quietly increasing deportations, with 80,000 undocumented immigrants set to be removed in 2025, almost double last year's numbers. The Canary Islands, a major entry point for North African migrants, saw record-high arrivals in 2024. Spain is expanding border patrols and fast-tracking deportations through new agreements with Morocco and Algeria. Housing fraud is also under scrutiny. Authorities have uncovered thousands of illegal rental cases in Madrid and Barcelona, leading to mass evictions. While some support these measures, human rights groups criticize forced removals and harsh detention conditions. 10. India. India is launching its strictest immigration policies yet, planning to deport 250,000 undocumented migrants in 2025. The government is targeting 10 million illegal Bangladeshi migrants, arguing they strain local economies and increase crime. 4,000 kilometers of new border fencing is being installed to stop illegal crossings. New citizenship laws require residents to prove their legal status, with authorities reviewing 8 million residency applications. Meanwhile, India has agreed to accept 18,000 undocumented Indians from the US following pressure from American officials. These measures have sparked political debates, with critics warning they could target specific ethnic groups. So, there you have it, 10 countries cracking down on immigration in 2025. From border walls to mass deportations, governments are tightening their immigration laws like never before. But what does this mean for global migration? Will these crackdowns solve problems or create new humanitarian crises? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you found this video insightful, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more global updates. And don't go anywhere. Our next video breaks down the top 10 countries where illegal immigrants in the US are coming from. You won't want to miss it. See you there.